Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We are here, the normal lads, and a special guest coming on to celebrate the 2-1 victory over Sheffield. We have Dave from Dave's LFC Chats YouTube page. Dave, thanks so much for coming on, man. How you doing?
I'm absolutely great. We got 3 points yesterday. We're the champions and World Club champions. How could you not be better being a Liverpool fan at the moment? But yeah, great coming on, just great. And I'll talk about Liverpool to anybody for how long. It doesn't bother me. Once you're talking about the Reds, I'll be there, baby.
I love your new gear. Love the new gear.
Oh, this the new Nike, yeah. The new Nike top, yeah. Looks like LFC on the back and everything. Look.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Oh. That was a good ad for the LFC. That was a good ad.
Yes. Yeah, seriously, nice plug. Nice plug.
Advert.
All right, well, we got a lot to get into. I'm really excited to get into it. Everyone out there, don't forget, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Really appreciate you guys. But overall, I don't know if we all saw a 2-1 victory coming in, but that was a pretty gritty performance, I thought. Again, started pretty slow. Tough VAR again coming into the picture. But Dave, let's start with you, man. What were your overall thoughts against the game with Sheffield?
Okay, well, for me, it was a game of two halves. I think first half we were pretty poor. We were actually Sheffield United were doing to us what we usually do to other teams. They were pressing us. They didn't give us time on the ball. We were sloppy in possession. We weren't fast enough. We just were not fast enough. We weren't releasing the ball, and we were out of sorts, to be honest, and especially at Anfield. And we just didn't look good. But I think what was important for us was the goal just before halftime. That Bobby no-look finish on the rebound was beautiful because it's a great time to score. I think it was around 40, 41 minutes, something like that. And to be honest, to win at 1-1, like, we didn't probably against the run of play to win at 1-1 because they could have been realistically 2 or 3. We'd 1 or 2 decisions. They'd 1 or 2 chances. We just didn't look. And that was the spark just before half time to win at 1-1. We couldn't play as bad as we did in the first half. In the second half, we just were a different team. I think the hairdryer must have been thrown a club probably at halftime, at the players at halftime. Hairdryer treatment. Something was done at halftime because second half we came out a totally different team. I mean, everything. Salah had a really good game. Salah's almost coming back to his peak Egyptian king pharaoh. He's just beautiful at the moment. I mean, Bobby getting a goal was great. He hasn't got a great goal scoring record at Anfield. I think he'd only scored 1 goal in the Premier League last season. Yeah. And second half was just different. And we attacked more. We were better in possession. We were faster going through the gears. And what a header from Jota. What a header from Jota. For a small little fella, out jumping the 2 centre halves, bang into the corner. And I think when that went in, there was only going to be 1 winner. Okay, Salah was unlucky hitting the post, and a goal that he scored was probably a goal of the decade award. To touch, to finish, all in one movement. To be VAR, we'll talk about VAR. You could do a documentary on VAR. But just 2-1, I just think it was so important, considering I know it's a long and winding answer, a long and winding road answer here, but I think it was so important for us the last 2 games when you consider all the bad news, the cloud hanging over the club and the players last week against the Everton game, the way that game went with Van Dijk being out. It was so important to get that midweek win against Ajax. The 1-0 away win in the group stage was huge. We hadn't won away in the group stage in the Champions League since 2008. So that was absolutely huge. Yeah, and then to get the win 2-1. It wasn't pretty at times, but it's all about the points. Points mean prizes, guys. It was great.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I could not agree more. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with everything that Dave just said. It actually reminded me a lot of last season. I mean, this season so far, I think Sheffield maybe has 1 point or even 0 points, but they're bottom of the table. But this performance by them, especially in that first half, reminded me a lot of the Sheffield from old. Like Dave said, they were pressing all over the place. They were playing some scrappy old English football, which was great to see for some stints of the game. Not when we were down, obviously, but it was just a scrappy match. It was tough on the center backs. I think they struggled with those aerial duels. That's one little minus I would have taken away from them. Otherwise, they were absolutely fantastic. And it also reminded me a lot of Liverpool from last season. They went down early off of a questionable call. We can get into that a little bit later, but they came back and they fought back, and they definitely deserved the result. I think I would agree with Dave as well that, we were a little unorganized in the beginning. I think we can attribute that to the 4-2-3-1. It looked like Genie and Hendo were kind of all over the field. Jota was on the left at one point, then he went over to the right. I was kind of confused what was going on up top. So I think after we scored that goal in the first half with Bobby, we kind of figured it out at halftime and really took it to him in the second half. So it was great to see. It reminded, like I said, it reminded me a lot of last season.
Yeah, I think looking at that game, I thought it was like, it was a game of two halves, but I think like the 4-2-3-1 doesn't work with Hendo and Jenny in the middle. It needs a CM in the two. So I think obviously not having Thiago was a blow in that sense. I think if we had him there, we'd have controlled that game more because I didn't feel we had control in terms of midfield of that game. That's why it was end to end. And that's why there was always chance of Sheffield United on the break or when they're getting down because we weren't really controlling in the middle. But overall, I thought it was just like last season. And I tweeted earlier saying how, a lot of Liverpool fans have forgotten how we won games last season. There were a lot of close games just like that where teams had good chances against us, but we showed the resilience and we overcame and we got the 3 points. And I think Joe Gomez needs like a lot of credit. He's been criticised a lot this season for a lot of fans, but he was outstanding last night, and really, really, I think was the better out of him and Fabinho. And I thought there was some stats of showing Gomez really, really did well last night. I thought Alisson did well from his first game back. And also I thought in terms of I think Robert's been outstanding again. He's been probably arguably our best player so far this season. And I thought Trent was really improved. I'm noticing Trent's not getting forward as much as he used to. And I think that obviously that's probably something they're being told, actually to not always gun forward and stay a bit back and hold the line. But he's looking much more improved defensively. I think what I noticed again in the second half, I think Jota moved into the centre and Salah was playing more on the right. And I think we look much better with that way rather than Salah through the middle. So I wonder if that's something that we could continue doing going forward and having Jota through the middle rather than Salah. And I'm just glad that Bob got a goal. He needed that goal. I think he's been low in confidence and he just needed it, So, and also we nearly got screwed. I said yesterday as well, if corrupt officiating tried to screw us again out of 3 points, because that's never a penalty in a billion years, and I don't understand how VAR didn't even check to see if it was a foul. They just checked to see if it was a corner or a penalty, and that's so incompetent. So, but luckily, mentality giants, we showed the resilience and we won. So, for me, stage of the season, all that matters is 3 points.
No, I pretty much agree with pretty much everything you guys just said. But going on that VAR play, technically the way they the call was technically right because his foot was on the line. But like you said, he clearly got all ball on that tackle, and the fact that the VAR did not even look at it is completely ridiculous. Because I thought honestly in the opening 5 minutes of the game we actually started decently well. And at the moment that VAR play happened and they got that PK goal, it just seemed like that turned Sheffield on, and then and they dominated that whole first half. But the biggest thing for me in the first half from a Liverpool perspective was with the 4-2-3-1. Because we hadn't been playing it all season, I just feel like, especially in the midfield, they did not know how to connect with the guys up front. So we never had that fluidity, very similar to the Ajax game in the first half, just did not have the fluidity that you typically see in our team. And all of a sudden, the second half, like Dave said, they must have did something in the locker room there, figured out a couple things, because all of a sudden it was a flip of the switch and we knew exactly where to go. The movement was great. Firmino's runs in that number 10 role was absolutely fantastic, I thought. He definitely deserved the goal, but I thought he played. They never found him, but still, his movement, it opened up pockets for other guys on the team, even though he didn't get the ball. He definitely should have. But I was thrilled with that. So, going forward, you insert Thiago in one of those pivot roles, and I think this is going to be the system because Jota started and he definitely got rewarded. It was a great play. Great play by him, just like Dave said. So overall, for me, I thought it was a really good performance. But Dave, what were your thoughts on the 4-2-3-1 formation? You think that's something that we're going to see more consistently now because Jota, he's flying?
Yeah, I think so. As you hit the nail on the head there. The first half, because we haven't really played that formation before, it looked like we hadn't played that formation before. We just weren't, we weren't hitting the right levels or the high notes. So second half, it just combined and everything worked right. The fluidity was there. They must have drank a few bottles of, I don't know, Red Bull or something at halftime. But everything was perfect in the second half. And as I say, Jota, this guy is going to be a superstar. I mean, we make superstars. We sign stars, turn them into superstars. He's only 23. He's a Portuguese international. He has a bit of everything. He can even score headers and out jump 6'3" centre halves. And he's about, 5'9", 5'10". He's pacey. He's got everything. He's intelligent as well. That's what Klopp likes. Players that can play. He can play anywhere on the front line. That's where he can play. But I think that formation suits us. It just shows you with Thiago in there. And Thiago is on the way back, by the way.
God.
So he's ready to roll. This guy's ready to roll midweek against Mjøkland, the Danish champions. I think it's Tuesday in the Champions League. So he'll get a few minutes in that game. And then we've West Ham at home the weekend at Anfield. So Thiago there, I mean, it's gonna be dreamland, because he'll even tighten the defensive more playing just in front of the two centre backs. You know what I mean? He'll break up the play, so he'll be like an added defender in there. So I think that formation going forward really suits us, and it is super exciting, my friends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm salivating at the thought of having him and Henderson in the double pivot. I think that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, well, homie, I know you're somebody who's been a huge advocate of wanting to do this. I mean, what are your thoughts on essentially keeping this going and adding, just sliding Thiago into Genie's spot?
I think it's the way forward, because I think that's what we were trying in pre-season. Most of the time we played the 4-2-3-1, and that's why we presumably bought Thiago, was to play in that like a double pivot, or maybe even as the 10 eventually down the line. But I think the 4-2-3-1, it also brings out the best in Naby, because that's what he played in at Leipzig. So he can also play in a 2 in that. So I think it's a way forward. It gets all our best attacking players on the pitch. And if you were to do it with Henderson and Thiago, which I think would be, with Fabinho in the centre, but I think would be the best partnership going forward, they just control the tempo of the game. They'll control the ball. Teams will be able to get the ball off us, because, they'll just keep the ball, they'll have that penetrative passing, and they'll give us a tempo. And I think that's the way going forward, because, Thiago, that's position is just made up for Thiago to come in there and just dominate. And I think that is probably, that control element is something we missed in the Ajax or in the Sheffield United game. Someone who's just going to dictate. And I think that's what I'm hoping that Klopp sticks to, because I think, especially without Virgil, I think that gives us a bit more protection in terms of controlling the game, protecting the defence. And it gives teams like a big headache, because they've got to think now, do they stop Thiago if he's playing in that role? Do they focus on stopping the wings, or do they try and stop Firmino in the middle? And also the interchange of the strikers, because they can all play anywhere. So it'll give the teams such a hard job to stop us, because of all those different threats. And then plus, obviously, you've got the strength of the bench now of different players to bring on. It's exciting times. And I just hope that Klopp now sees he has the personnel to play that formation in big games, because he wasn't willing to do that last season. And I hope he sees now, I have the personnel to play that if we're playing a City away, or, we're playing a big Champions League game, because I think that's the best way to go. And it will cause teams lots of problems.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, Andrew, what do you think of just Henderson's performance overall today? I mean, I thought it was a captain's like performance in a gritty game. Especially that you really look great in that double pivot role.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to look good. He's one of those players that I think will look good in any formation, and clearly we've found that he's absolutely essential to this Liverpool team. I think, and I said it I think last episode, but Henderson's involvement every game really brings out the best in Trent, especially on the defensive side, just because he's always taking care of his boy. He's like, he knows that he struggles defensively, and he always just drifts over to that right-hand side. And you notice when Naby's in there, Fabinho actually does it pretty well, but when Naby's in there, Genie's in there, anybody else, Trent usually struggles. So I think having Jordan Henderson in the side is absolutely essential for Liverpool, as like I said, as we found out towards the end of the last season and beginning of this season. But no, I guess I agree with Wahomie. I'm just curious to see when he'll utilize the 4-2-3-1. Is it just going to be situationally? because I think he does favor the 4-3-3 still over any other potential formation. Is it just going to be against a defensive block? Is it going to be against a counterattack? You know, what's it going to be? Who's going to be in that lineup? Because I actually thought Genie played really well in this game, especially in the second half. He seems to be the fittest guy in the field every single game. So Klopp has a lot of tough decisions coming up, which formation to go with, which players to go with now that everybody's coming back healthy. So it's going to be interesting, man.
It is going to be interesting, but one thing I do like about the 4-2-3-1, outside of just what Thiago is going to bring to it, I also think it's just going to help with our rotations and our flexibility a little bit more. I mean, look at a guy like Minamino; he can pretty much now, when you go to a 4-2-3-1, you can bring him on for any of those guys and just do a couple little movements, and it's natural for everybody. Even a guy like Shaqiri, this would allow you to unleash him a little bit more because you wouldn't have to rely on him tracking back as much as you would in a 4-3-3. So. I do think it's going to be the thing to do going forward, especially, with no Van Dijk, just having a little bit more cover. But that being said, the center backs, 2 games without Van Dijk, I thought they were both absolutely fantastic again. Man of the match type of performance from Joe Gomez. I mean, this is going to be a very huge stretch for this kid. We all know how good he is on a skill level, but we always talk about his discipline and then, his lack of voice. We saw a lot more of that this time. He was barking out there. He was taking control, taking command. So I absolutely loved what I saw from Fabinho and Gomez, and knowing that, we have a guy like Matip, right behind them who can maybe play once a week for us. I think we're going to be okay there. I mean, Dave, what did you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. As we know, Matip's to come in, and I think he's fit for this week. But he's like Bambi on ice. I mean, he's injured all the time. He's injured far too much. But we can't rely on Matip being fit for a whole season. It just won't happen. I mean, Gomez, everybody would say he lacks leadership at centre half. When you had Van Dijk beside you, you didn't need to do any. I could have played centre half, to be honest with you. Exactly. But you've seen a lot more of that in the Sheffield United game. As you said, he was barking out orders, getting more in position. I mean, the Villa game, he was caught out of position badly 2 or 3 times. To be honest, the whole team were caught out of position badly in that game. Right. But he was the one that got a lot of abuse online. Still a young lad. He's still learning.
Yeah, 3?
Yeah, and we're throwing him in at the deep end. And this is a great time for him to learn now, because he's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet, because we just have no other centre halves there. So, I mean, Fabinho would rather play in midfield, of course, but if Thiago comes back, hopefully this week, that frees up Fabinho just to stay there, stay centre half. Or maybe Matip comes in midweek to give Fabinho a rest, because Fabinho will be playing most games. It's all the big games, especially centre half. So it's just Gomez. His pace. He's got everything you would want as a centre half. Everything. Sometimes concentration goes with him, and the problem is, like a goalkeeper, if you make a mistake at centre half, like a goalkeeper, it usually ends up being a bad mistake, as in a goal or a penalty or something. So you have to be 100% on all the time. I think he will become eventually probably a regular in England and stuff like that, regular with Liverpool, and this is his time to shine now. He's got to step up. He stepped up yesterday. We need him to step up at least till January, until we can probably bring in somebody. So, I'm impressed. What?
Do you sign somebody in January?
Oh, yeah, big time. We have to sign a centre half in January. I've seen a lot of media stuff over here talking about Brighton's Ben White, who played for Leeds last year, the young English lad, the centre half. But I don't know whether Liverpool will be held to ransom in January, because everybody knows they need a centre half. So, and they know that Liverpool have money. So I think Liverpool might do something behind closed doors and get someone in that nobody's talking about. There won't be any Kabali. I mean, that'd be crazy money. That'd be 70, 80 million. Liverpool just won't go that way. But I think they definitely will bring in a centre half. I think we just got to bring in a centre half. We've got to do it. I mean, Matip's not going to be fit till the rest of the season. Fabinho he's a midfielder playing centre half. And we've Gomez, who has a bit of an injury problem himself. So we've only got 3 fit centre halves. Matip, Gomez, Fabinho. We have to bring in. You always should have 4. Always have 4. Top clubs should have 4. We got rid of Lovren. Some people might say that was the right thing to do, but I thought when they got rid of Lovren, they'd someone coming in. That was my thoughts. Right. It didn't happen. Wow. So, and then Verge got injured, so we know what happened next. But I think definitely they'll look for a centre half in January, no doubt about it.
Apparently, they're saying that we're in talks with that K-back from Schalke.
The Turkish centre half.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. That it was reported last
Yeah, we're in talk. I don't like him. He's got some bad press in a few games. They've got hammered a few times.
Yeah.
They've got hammered a few times.
Yeah, he spit on somebody or something like that.
Yeah, I think that one is cooled. I think that's cooled a bit.
Yeah, because Piers mentioned on a podcast last week on Monday, Tuesday, they said that he would be surprised it was a K-back or a Como.
Who, James Pierce?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a podcast.
Yeah.
If it'd be one of them two that signed in January.
Well, James usually knows his stuff, so you know what I mean.
So,
James is usually pretty reliable.
Quebec would probably go for what, 20 million? I thought somebody said.
Yeah, it's 20 million.
Which isn't too bad, but I mean,
I think Liverpool will go between 20, 25. I don't think they're going to go, this Cavalli 60, 70 million for centre half, or Squarehead Maguire off United 80 million with joke of it, absolute Lego land money. So I can't see that. I think it's 20, 25. Bring a young lad in, centre half, hopefully an international or even Champions League level, experience, Champions League experience, because we'll be in the. That's what we need. That's what we need.
I love Upper Corner, but I just can't see it in January.
He's 21 years old.
Upper Como, he's Upper Como. I can't understand his name probably.
I know he plays for Leipzig, RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
He'd be big money. He'd be big money. He's a good centre half now.
But doesn't he have a release?
He's got the buyout clause in the summer for 35 million.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't see them selling him in January without bidding a massive premium.
That's what I'm saying. They'll hold us to ransom, either way. So, do you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to take out my earphones and plug in the. It might die. If it dies, I'll rejoin. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. We'll keep going here, though. Dave brought up a good point when he was talking about the center backs and talking about the goalkeeper situation. Obviously, we brought Alisson back. I mean, Andrew, what were your thoughts on the center back's performance? And do you think having that security blanket of Alisson, maybe helps, give them a little bit more confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I also don't think that Sheffield has the most dynamic forwards in the league. They had Ollie McBurney and Rhian Brewster. I actually thought Brewster did well aerially against Fabinho and Joe Gomez. I was actually kind of surprised, but I mean, he's a young lad. He still has a lot to do to impact the league or anything. But no, obviously, Alisson coming back into the lineup is absolutely huge. There was multiple different plays, corner kicks, free kicks, when he would come out and punch the ball away, and he made it look so easy. But there was multiple Sheffield players around him, and if that's Adrian, I don't know. I think there's at least one mistake in there where he misses the punch, goes into the net, something happens. But Alisson just makes it so easy. He's a great shot stopper. He does everything great. So having him back in the lineup obviously eased the nerves of all the fans, and clearly eased the nerves of most of the players as well.
Yeah, he gives that leadership, that vocal leadership at the back, and you can hear him barking orders, which obviously Adrian never does. I think that's the key thing with Alisson. Like, it gives everyone that confidence. Like Gomez and the centre backs, they know they can pass the ball back, and it's not half a mouth like Adrian did against Ajax, where he can come out for the ball and he shouldn't come out, and Gomez is like, "What are you doing?" So
Alisson did have a mistake though.
Yeah, that was. I think he just.
If that was Adrian, you would have been all over him.
Yeah. I think that's just like Russ. I'll put that down to Russ. That he overtook too long the ball. It's down to Russ. Otherwise, he still up and counted and made some good saves.
Yeah, of course.
And was just I thought for his first game back, I thought that was really good. I think that's crucial. We got him now, so he gets some games under his belt before the City game, 8th of November. So I thought it was good to have him back, big time.
Yeah, definitely nice having him back. But all right, let's get into our player ratings to close things out here. So I'll kick things off with Alisson in that. I'll give him a 7. I thought his distribution was really good. Obviously the penalty not really on him. I would love to see him save a penalty at some point, because he does not have a good record at Liverpool saving penalties. Yeah, I mean, the Jorginho one. Yeah, other than that, it's all he's got. But yeah, screw Jorginho. I don't like that guy. But yeah, Alisson for me is a 7.
Yeah, I'd go with 7 again. Like, I think he did well in his first game. a couple good saves, clearances. Yeah, I don't think he had a lot to do to get it to be 8 or 9 or anything like that. So that's why I'm just giving it a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5.
What do you think, Dave?
Sorry, is my volume okay? Can you
Yeah,
hear
you're
me?
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You're Allison in Wonderland. I would give Allison 7 out of 10. I think 2 things he did obviously gave us confidence at the back, but there was 1 or 2 balls into the box where they were trying to crowd him and they were coming in and he punched them out 2 or 3 times. I think Adrian would have really struggled there. And, you know, he's a big fella, Allison, and I give him a solid 7.
Yeah, there was one play that was inside the 6-yard box where I don't even know how Allison punched it out. And the first thing I thought of was like, that's a goal if Adrian was in net there. So thank God he's back. We're all glad to have him. But moving on over to Trent, you know, I think Trent, again, just, you know, I think a 6.5, 7 type of a performance out of him. Again, not a ton offensively. It was not a liability defensively. But just solid performance.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would say 7. He got an assist, so that'll boost him up a little bit. Otherwise, I would have given him a 6. But yeah, what?
The assist was offside, wasn't it? Though.
Was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the Salah one he assisted is called offside.
No, he assisted the Firmino. Oh no, because he made the cross over to Mane, who headed it, and then you're right. Yeah. Well, that was a nice cross. That's my point. Yeah. I'm still giving him a 7. Key pass.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think yesterday was more about his defensive side, and I think he did his defensive side really well. So I'd give him a 7 for that. I think maybe it's instruction that he's been instructed not to go as forward as much, to work on the defensive side. But yeah, I would like to see more crosses from Trent. But yeah, 7 is fine for me.
Yeah, I would give Trent I think we're going to be all 7s here, but I give Trent a 7 because of the fact, as you just said, he was more defensive. He wasn't as attacking. He wasn't his usual wing play and getting the ball into the box as much as maybe Robbo on the other side was. But a defender's job first is to defend, and I think he did that pretty well. So solid 7 for Trent.
Nice. So going over the center backs, I'm going to give, I think Fabinho 8, Gomez 9 for me. You know, I just think, again, Gomez, almost like his coming out show for a leadership position there. Really liked what I saw, but super solid from both those guys, keeping the spine intact. So 8 for Fabinho, 9 for Gomez.
Yeah,
I'd give it 9 for Gomez. Fabinho, although it was a good tackle, I know we're criticizing him, but it was a good tackle. I'd rather he didn't go to ground at those situations. He needs to stay up, because I don't think Van Dijk would dive in then. He would stay up and shoot the ball away. And I think I'd rather him not go to ground there. He should be told not to go to ground because it's unnecessary there. Because I'd give him an 8, but I just rather he didn't go to ground, because that going forward isn't the best decisions to go then.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them both 8s. I thought Gomez was probably player of the match. Maybe even Robertson. I don't know, but they just lost so many aerial duels for me. I mean, McBurney was giving them trouble. Even Brewster out jumped Gomez a few times. So that's something I think they need to work on. But other than that, they were absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm still giving them 8s. They had great games. So this definitely adds a bit of security knowing that we have those 2 studs back there.
I will give Fabinho an 8. I mean, he's a midfielder playing centre half. He made a mistake. He dived in. He shouldn't have dived in. I think he was a bit disappointed because he had actually lost the ball on the edge of the area and he tried to recover on the edge of the area. Bad idea. So an 8 for Fabinho. We recovered. We did okay. We won the game. And Gomez, I would give an 8.5. Can you give 0.5s?
Absolutely.
I'm going to give Gomez an 8.5 because he was up there for man of the match, and his leadership skills showed, especially in the second half in Liverpool. We were 1-0 down. We came back, won the game, and it was so important to win that game and not let in any more goals. We just played better second half, and his leadership shone second half. So Gomez 8.5, Fabinho 8.
Nice. Okay. Moving on to Robertson. Again, another 8 performance out of him. I thought he was dangerous going forward and involved in the attack. Again, super solid defensively, like he always is. Just another classic performance, player of the season so far for us. So 8 for Robertson.
Yeah, I'll give Robertson 8. I think he was top performance, and always offering that threat down the left as an avenue, and Sheffield United couldn't handle him. So nothing really came down his side really from them. So yeah, I think an 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an 8.5. I'm gonna go with the 0.5. No, I think he's been our best player this year, and actually he might be the best player on the team. Especially with Virgil out, but he's just the definition of consistent. And I don't see any fullback, right or left, being better than him in the world. I mean, Alphonso Davies got injured, but I mean, even if he was playing, I don't think he offers as much defensively as Robertson does. I mean, his positional awareness, his knowledge of playing in the back is just absolutely superior to anybody I've seen play on the left side. So, I mean, I'm giving him an 8.5 and a 10 for the season so far.
Yeah, Robertson for me, it actually one of his better games, defensively and attacking. There was one time he actually did a Messi-esque, went by about 4 players in midfield. There was some run. Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm going to give Robertson a standard 8.6. That's how good he was.
Wow, there we go. 8.6. Definitely deserved. I mean, he's unbelievable for us. Great player. But let's get into the double pivot. So Henderson, I'm gonna say it again. I thought he was an 8. Just captain's performance, great leadership in the second half, really got us going. Genie, I'm gonna give kind of more of like a 6.5, 7. I thought he just did his job. He's not one of those guys who's always gonna stand out, but I thought he was really solid for us, especially defensively positioning. I thought he was really good there. So yeah, 6.5.
Hendo, I'd give an 8. I thought that his passing was really good again yesterday. Like, he's underrated his long range passing and his ability to. I think it was also in the second half where he did that run when we were under the cosh, and it was like a really good run. So I give him an 8. Ginny, I'm going 6.5. I think he just did enough, and I think nothing against Ginny. I think in the second half, obviously, the whole team improved, and I think his stamina in terms of holding on to the ball and the runs he was doing late in the half. But I just feel like maybe it's them not having used to playing that position, the 4-2-3-1. But I just feel like the midfield at times lack control. And I think that's why I feel that it just didn't. At times it wasn't working in that. So that's why I'm giving him the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Genie a 7. Actually, I thought he was. He had a great performance, especially in that second half. Like you said, his stamina is just out of this world. He's probably the fittest guy in the team now that Milner's 34. But I actually think that he provides a lot of control in the midfield. I just think he doesn't provide any creativity, and that's the main issue when he's in there. You know, he's not going to dribble past. It's rare for him to dribble past. You know, it's 2 guys. Maybe he can get past 1, and he's not going to thread the ball through for a killer pass to Salah or Mane. So he just limits us offensively, and that's, I think, the main issue with a lot of our supporters with Gini Wijnaldum. You know, he's going to run his ass off every game, but he does disappear at times because he doesn't offer anything offensively. So I think you're right. I think with Hendo and Genie in there, they both offer similar qualities and similar attributes. So I think I'd be interested to see how he looks with like a Thiago. Or, you know, he usually plays well when Keita's in there. So, I mean, I'm interested to see how Klopp lines up with him again in a 4-2-3-1.
Okay, guys, Genie, he does a lot of selfless stuff. I mean, he does a lot of stuff nobody sees. I mean, if you had a camera, you know those player cams that they put them on the players. I mean, your head would be spinning because he does so much running and tackling and, you know, unselfish stuff. So I'll give Genie a 7, just for his energy in that midfield. Hendo, I will give an 8. It was captain's performance. The ball in, I think he was the one who swung the ball in for Mane's header. It was a beautiful ball in. And just Hendo being Hendo, just having him on the pitch makes a difference, to be honest with you. It really, with no crowds, no Anfield crowd there, just having Henderson barking out the orders in midfield, and the respect that he deserves being club captain. An 8 for Hendo.
I think we all had 8s for Hendo, so that's good for us. I like that. Nice consistency. So moving on, let's talk Jota. I think Jota, for me, I'm gonna give him. I hate to keep throwing 8s at people, but I think an 8 performance out of him. I mean, unbelievable movement. Again, I think we saw a little bit of everything from him from a creativity standpoint, his leaping ability, great with his head. So yeah, 8 for me. Hell of a goal. When I saw that cross come in, I said to myself, no way he's getting that. And then he got it and scored. So props to him. Great goal. 3 points for, all because of him with that great goal. So 8 for me, Jota.
I'm going to go different. I'm going to go 8.5 for Jota. Because I think, in the first half, I felt he did look a bit lost in terms some of the final passes wasn't there. But the second half, I thought he was so much more improved, like his dribbling, his positioning, the amount. I think with Jota is once he gets used to fully understanding how the team plays and also understanding the movements, he's going to be ridiculously good. And I thought that header was really good. And so I just think he's getting better and better. And it's only maybe his 3rd or 4th game. So, it's still really early doors. So, but so far so good. And I just want to see him more in the centre rather than Salah in the centre going forward. But yeah, I think it was 8.5. I thought great header, and he's shoving all the Wolves fans saying that they ripped us off. So he shoving that down their throats.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him. God, you made so many good points there. I am gonna give him an 8.5. Actually, I was gonna give him an 8, but then listen to my homie, I was just like, yeah, 8.5. But no, he's actually to piggyback off of what homie said. He's like a perfect mix for me of Sadio Mane when he joined Liverpool and Mo Salah. He has the pace, the skill to beat any defender out there. He's obviously great with his head, as Sadio Mane is. I'm not sure which foot he's better with, but I guess time will tell. But he's what I saw in this game. He's so good at holding off the defender. He backs up into him, kind of like Salah does, and he either takes it down with his chest, controls it with his feet, and then distributes it or turns. It's just he has so much in his locker, and Klopp can just do so much with him. I think he even said in his post-game press conference that he still has a lot to offer. So, only excitement for this guy.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. Jota has got to get an 8/5 by me. 8.5, baby. He has a lot of upper body strength, similar to the way Salah has. Yeah. He's got that sort of balance when he runs. Very similar characteristics to Salah. As you just said, Mane and Salah very similar, and he's very good in the air like Mane is ahead in the ball. I think we've got, as I said earlier in the show, I think we got a superstar on our hands here, guys. I really do. I think he's 15 plus goal scorer, Premier League goals in him. And if he pops up with 15 plus, and if the likes of Salah getting 20 plus, maybe Mane getting 20 plus, and Bobby chipping in with a few, there's your Premier League winning side there. That's what it's all about. Throwing someone in, coming in new. He looks like he's played at Liverpool for 2 or 3 years, to be honest. And he's been only there, a month or two? And this guy is going to be a superstar. I'm so happy when he's on the pitch because he makes things tick like Salah. So 8.5 for me. Jota has got to get it.
Dave, I think you have to come on more often, man, because you just make me want to run through.
I need more Dave.
Yeah, I am just so. You guys feel backed up. I need a sweat right now. Let's go. Oh God, I don't even know how to follow that up. We'll go with Firmino. Firmino next, and honestly, for me, I was so proud of the performance that he put in because I think he shut up a lot of people, and I think for a lot of people the goal saved him, but take away the goal, and I thought he played absolutely fantastic. Yeah, again, his movement was great. He was key in the press, defensively as well. So classic performance, nice bounce back. 8 for me.
Yeah, the funny thing was, before he scored, I was saying sub Firmino off because I felt like we needed something different. Because I thought at that time maybe the 4-2-3-1 maybe wasn't working.
You of all people, come on.
Yeah, because I thought like maybe we needed to bring on someone else just to change it up, because maybe I thought something wasn't right in terms of us controlling the game. So I thought maybe we need to shore it up a bit. But I was glad I was proven wrong, and Bobby shut me up. So, but I'd go with an 8 for Bobby, because I did. Yeah, he did play well after that, and was really key in terms of like linking up play and doing some good pressing. So I'd go with an 8.
You know, it's funny. I really wish that we did a pre-match for this game, because I'm very curious to see who Wahomie would have picked for the goal scorers. Would he have picked Bobby Firmino? I think he would have. I really do.
Probably.
No, but I would have given Bobby probably a 7.5. It was so funny when he scored that goal. I think he was as surprised as we all were, because he literally fell over. He like tripped over himself and fell into the net. But I hope it's only upwards from here for him, man. If we get him clicking too, watch out.
Yeah, exactly, Andrew. 7.5 for Bobby. No look for me, because I'll tell you, a lot of being said about is not scoring as many goals as he did a few seasons ago. I mean, he was scoring nearly every week. But Bobby is integral to that whole front three. And, you know, he's part of the whole cog. He's part of the fluidity that Klopp loves him. I mean, Klopp plays him most of the time, doesn't he? He picks him for a reason. He sees him in training. He knows what he gives him. He gives him that bit of X factor, even when he's not scoring goals. Just the flicks, little Brazilian style that he exudes. You know what I mean? So 7.5 for me for Bobby. No look.
Bobby. Going on to our last two here, Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane. I'm throwing out a lot of 8s, but it's just another 8 performance out of him. I don't know if anyone can stop him one-on-one. I mean, anytime he faces somebody up, I always just think he's going to beat them every single time. I mean, I think he had both assists today. Am I correct on that? Do you have the second assist for Jota? Yeah. I mean, great, absolutely great performance. 8 for me.
I think what I like about Mane is his work rate. Like, he works so hard. It's underrated. The amount of pressing he does, tracking back, and the way he's holds onto the ball is so difficult to get the ball off him. And I think, like, maybe the one aspect of Mane's game is he doesn't maybe get as many assists as, say, like Salah does. But when he does get assists, they are good assists. And that cross was to Jota was a great cross. I didn't understand, like, Sheffield United had 2 players on him, and they just backed off and allowed him to put the cross in as if he couldn't get a cross in. And then he put in a piece of a ball in. So, like, yeah, I think Mane, I'm going to go 8.5, because I think, like, he did another amazing job in terms of, like, except for not scoring, everything else of his game was outstanding.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an 8. I thought that was with his left foot, by the way, too. His weak foot that he assisted that pass to Jota with. But yeah, I'm giving him an 8. He just, like Steven said, he can beat any guy with his pace. He has so much skill. He has so much strength. He can score with any foot or any body part. You know, he can put the ball in with his head. He's just absolutely phenomenal. And I just remember in this game, I think I tweeted like halfway through the first half, we need to get Mane on the ball. He wasn't really involved as much, and I think once he got involved, that's when we started to pick up the pace. But I mean, he's a nightmare for any defender. I would never want to go against him. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Mane in the mirror, make that change. Mane.
Do you write all these down beforehand?
No, Mane's been probably, Mane was, I was going to say Mane the match, but Mane has been unbelievable. He has been, last year, he's just carried on. I mean, Mane just steps onto the pitch. That's it. I mean, that's how good he is. The body strength, the pace, the power. I mean, when he came from Southampton, people were giving out about him that you pay too much money for him. You know, he's a bit of a dud. He'll get an odd goal here and there. He'll put in a shift here and there. Once Klopp got a hold of him, I mean, he's banging in the goals within 6 months. And he hasn't stopped. And if he doesn't score a goal, he'll make a goal. What a ball in. What a ball in for Jota's header. I mean, in between 2 centre halves, and he picks him out, a small guy, he picks the spot. I mean, I won't say he couldn't miss, he'd a lot to do, but what a ball in. And Mane gives you that bit of X factor and something special. And that's why, for me, Mane was probably our best player last season by far. man of the season last year, and he's just continued. Mane in the mirror, I will give 8.5.
8.5. I thought you might have gotten the 8.6 there. So, all right. But last but not least, we'll go with Salah. I know we had a couple of subs, but they just didn't play enough worthy to to get the rating. But Salah, I'm gonna go with another. I guess I'm gonna give him an 8 as well. I feel bad I can't give him an 8.5 over Mane, but I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the goal that got called back was an absolute thing of beauty. That would have been the goal of the season probably. But I mean, we see it. I mean, he can beat people. The amount of attention that he draws to himself every single time he touches the ball just frees up lanes for the entire team. But yeah, I thought especially in the second half, he was absolutely so dangerous. I mean, he hit the post a couple times. So yeah, 8 for me. And if he and Mane continue to play like this, there's not going to be many teams who can beat us.
I'm gonna go 7.5 purely because I feel that when Salah hit the post, he should have squared it to Mane, and it should have been 3-1.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he should have squared it instead of hitting the post because hitting the post was way more harder for him to score from than it was to pass to Mane who would have buried it. Otherwise, I thought Salah played well. I thought he was a threat. He was much better when we went to the right than when he was through the centre. And I thought even his work rate in terms of tracking back was really good. He was always tracking back to help defense out. So yeah, that's what I'd give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I was pissed that he didn't square that to Mane. Mane was wide open. It was just, if I was Sadio Mane there, I would have given him a good yelling. But
back to Burnley.
What?
This is back to Burnley last year.
Yeah, seriously, he deserved it. But no, for me, Salah, I thought he just put in a good performance. I gave him a 7. I think that we can see a lot more from Mo. But yeah, I actually like that he was getting back defensively with homie. I think that's a really good point. He was helping out Trent, and I wonder if he was told to start helping out Trent on that right hand side, because clearly Trent was struggling with overlaps and that sort of thing. But no, he's been having a great season so far. So yeah, 7 for me.
Mo Salah, the king of Egypt, is back. The king. I thought Salah was brilliant. I thought Mo Salah was brilliant. I'm going to give him an 8.5. He hit the post. He did an unbelievable. The touch and the finish. I know it was called offside for VAR. His toenail was offside. But I mean, that would have been the goal of the decade. He's back. Do you know what about Salah? He's actually taking on players now. Last season, he wasn't doing it. I know an amazing season. He got 44 goals. People are saying that's a one-off. This is this. But he's 20. He's a 20-plus goal a season, man. This guy will go down as one of the greatest players to play for Liverpool. When you look back over his numbers, his assists and his goals per game ratio, the king of Egypt gets 8.5 from me.
Perfect. Well, that wraps up the ratings there. So, I mean, unbelievable game. That was a well-fought game. No, we'll be back here tomorrow for the pre-match for the Champions League. But Dave, thanks so much for coming on, man. This was a fun episode, and we really appreciate you. And please, I mean, anytime you want to come back on, let us know. We'd love to have you.
Definitely.
No problem, guys. Stay safe. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'm going to do my comedy stand-up show now. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, Dave, let me
go to that anytime, man.
Dave, let me ask you real quick. Are you in Liverpool?
No, I live in Dublin, Ireland. Oh,
you live in Dublin. Okay. So if my brother and I ever come over across the pond, we're linking up with you 100%.
Yeah, no problem. I'll get you a nice glass of Guinness, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful.
Sounds great for us. But yeah, that wraps up this episode of Yanks of the Cop. Again, if you haven't yet, please go hit that like button, subscribe for us. We really appreciate it. Up the Reds, and we'll see you tomorrow for the pregame Champions League match. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
See ya.